Hey guys, welcome to my hobby vlog. Hey guys, welcome to Top Table Gaming. You're here with your host Top Table Ben, and as I said in the intro, this is a very quick hobby vlog from me. So I want to use this for a couple of reasons. Number one, I want to show you guys what I've been working on over the last few months since Christmas, and I want it to be like a bit of a retrospective for myself as well, as to what I have painted, because I think it's very easy to lose track of what you've done and the projects that you worked on and things. So this for me is something that I can potentially watch back in the future and say, oh yeah, I had a really productive year that year. And also I think it's going to really help me to kind of focus on what I'm going to be painting and what projects I'm going to be working on into the future. So let's get down on the table and let's have a look at what I've been getting up to. This was the first army that I painted in 2020. As you can see, it is Boracay Scouts. With the release of Uruk's Scouts Legendary Legion, I couldn't wait to get some scouts on the table. I already had a pretty big Isengard horde, but they were all more the armoured Uruk-hai and the Helm's Deep type of Uruk-hai. So I hadn't really painted many scouts before. I had a couple of the heroes painted, but I thought it was a really good opportunity to get the rest of my Isengard force fleshed out. It's been something that I've been meaning to do for the last couple of years. So overall, I think I painted about 32 Uruk-hai scouts. There's a combination of metal ones in there. I think there's 24 plastics. One thing that you won't see in there is some of the Ambusher Ammon Hen figures, so the Uruk-hai carrying Merry and Pippin, because I've only just picked up that box from Rohan. I say only just a couple of weeks ago I picked it up, so I haven't had a chance to paint those yet. So there are a couple more Uruk-hai going to be added to this horde. As you can see here, I've also got the new, or the re-released command pack as well, with the awesome new Captain Sculpt, who is beautiful. I absolutely love this pose. And it's one, because I'd seen it online for years as a model, it was never probably going to be available to me. I was really excited to pick this guy up. And he is awesome. Really, really nice to paint. Really enjoyed that. The banner was a good one to paint as well. I still need to do just a head on top of here, but overall, he's almost pretty much done. I quite liked him. A model that I really enjoyed painting more than I thought I would was the Yokai Shaymin. I'm not a big fan of painting sort of big fleshy areas, but actually with this kind of reddish skin tone, it was quite fun. I'm putting all like little handprints on him and things as well. It's a really unique model, so I really enjoyed painting him overall. There is Grishnak here, who is the old Grishnak, who actually I painted him up quite a long time ago now, and I was quite proud of the paint job. So I've just rebased him, tidied him up a little bit, given him an extra little touch up. And unfortunately, that was before I knew that there was a new Grishnak model coming out, who is right here, but has no paint on him yet. So he is kind of fairly soon to be painted in my queue. So I'm sure you'll see him on the Top Table Gaming Community Facebook page fairly soon. And then one that I hadn't really intended on painting was Snaga, but I painted him up for a super secret project, which I can't tell you about. But he was a joy to paint. Actually, I really enjoyed painting him. I didn't think I would, because he is very small. He's very sort of intricate. There's a lot of kind of different bits of leather, and you trying to differentiate between those layers of leather is actually quite difficult. I went for a kind of more pallid-y skin tone than the box art has. He's kind of almost a grey mottled bluish type colour on the box art. I wanted something that would kind of clash a little bit more with the darker colours. I also chose to paint his hands as though they are flesh coloured rather than gloves, because again it just adds a little bit more contrast to the model. But as I say, overall I really enjoyed painting him. So there are a few more bits just to add to this army, but overall I think I'm pretty much done with Boracay Scouts for now. As part of Uruk's Legendary Legion, you can have orcs as well. They were going to be next on my list, but because I was working on a few other projects, I decided to leave them for now, but I think they are one that I will definitely return to later in the year. At the moment as well, painting 36 Mordor orcs, or plastic Mordor orcs in particular, just does not appeal to me, so that is something that I will revisit at a later date. And on to project number 2 of 2020, which was Riders of Rohan. As you can see, there was a very War in Rohan theme around what I've been painting so far this year. Rohan's an army that I've kind of admired for a long time, but it's not one that I've got around to painting, and what really put me off was painting so many horses. It's not something I ever really enjoy painting on a model. I much prefer kind of painting armour or more structured areas rather than horses, which tend to kind of lack in detail, especially the plastic ones in particular. Some of the new Forge World ones are amazing, but that's beside the point. The bulk of the army was always going to be Riders of Rohan. But what really kind of made me change my mind around it was the use of contrast paint. So I've painted all my horses on my on my Riders of Rohan with contrast paint. For tabletop standards, I think they are absolutely fine. It's not something that I'm going to be doing for my heroes anytime soon, because I quite like putting a bit of extra time and a bit of extra effort into heroes. But for rank and file dudes, I'm more than happy to use contrast. I also did a few little conversions with these guys as well. One that I'm in particular quite happy about is this one. He was an old bowman, and now he looks like he's kind of charging. He would make like a proxy captain, I think. I think he would look the part as a captain. I've done just various kind of weapon swaps and hand swaps and things. I forget which ones now are conversions and which ones aren't. I've also started doing the same with the the Warriors of Rohan. So I put a video out earlier this week about how I've converted some of my warriors. The majority of the ones that I have yet to paint are actually my conversions, although you might see some conversions in amongst this lot. They are kind of what's on my painting desk at the moment. As you can see, some of them still aren't based. Actually, the majority of them aren't based. Some of them haven't had the rims painted brown yet either. So they are kind of a bit of a slog at the moment. At the moment, I've only got 12 painted. My aim is to get to about 24. Once I reach that point, I don't think I'm going to be keen on painting that many more. So we'll see how I get on with that. So hoping to get 24 warriors. I've currently got 18 Riders of Rohan, which I think will be plenty. And I've also got 6 Rohan Royal Guard. It's still in boxes because I don't want to get them out until what I've got already is painted. But I think that will pretty much be the bulk of my Rohan army. The reason I started Rohan as well, interestingly, is it was going to be part of my going to be part of a slow grow campaign locally, which was set up by Colin Brown. That's kind of why I started doing it, and my theme was going to be kind of the Warg attack scene from the Two Towers film. So for that very reason, I painted up this version of Theoden, who I was quite pleased with him. This is a lovely pose, and this is one that is going to be coming back as a made to order once Games Workshop reopen again. But lovely model. I'm desperate for a dismounted version of him. I would absolutely love it. At the moment, I'm just using the Heroes of Helm's Deep version, which I didn't particularly enjoy painting, I'm not going to lie. And the reason for that is the armour is so intricate. Like, there's that gold kind of inlay in it, and I just didn't enjoy painting him at all. I found it quite stressful, if anything. What is beautiful on this sculpt, though, I don't know if you can see it, is the face is phenomenal. It's probably one of my favourite faces to paint alongside Denethor in the Middle-earth range. So he is really, the face was great to paint. The rest of the model, not so much. Also painted up a banner, and I've made the red on this banner quite vibrant. I wanted him to really kind of stand out on the tabletop. so make sure that you really do see him. I am terrible for forgetting to do my rerolls, so by having a nice bright banner, hopefully that will remind me a little bit more. Did the foot version as well, which I think looks really nice. And then the last hero that I have painted so far is Éomer. And again, this is the old version of Éomer. So when I first started painting Éomer, I kind of had a guess that there was a new Éomer coming out, but I kind of wanted to get this guy done before the new one came out, because I knew once the new one came out I would never ever get around to painting this model. So I'm glad I've got him done. Again, because the armour is so kind of intricate and detailed, it was a bit of a difficult one to paint, but I got him done. I got him to a standard where I'm happy with him. I didn't want to spend too much time because there's so many other Rohan heroes that I have yet to paint. So into this army I am going to be doing Durnhelm, I've got Daewine, I've got Elfhelm. All the other Rohan kind of heroes and captains are going to be part of this army, but I'm going to take my time over those guys. What I'm really pleased about is that I have got the bulk of this army pretty much done. There's still some riders to go, but what I'm doing is I'm treating myself to a hero every 6 warriors that I do. So hopefully by the time I get to painting all my warriors and finishing them off, I should have all the heroes done as well. And on to a super sneaky bonus project that I've worked on in the last month or so, and it is a warband of Haradrim. So we, as a channel, were going to be needing a warband of Haradrim and Raza painted up for an upcoming series that we were going to be doing, because none of us had Raza painted up. So I decided to paint Raza, and I decided to paint the warband of Haradrim in the same colours as him. I also had a banner and a Hasharin as well, who I decided to paint in the same colour scheme, so that if eventually when I do start a Haradrim army, it's not on my plans to do so anytime soon, but whilst painting them I kind of really enjoyed it, and I quite like the aesthetic of these guys in particular. But whilst I was painting them, you know, I just thought I may as well get the whole lot of everything at Haradrim that I have got painted all in one go. So Raza is actually quite a nice model. It's really, really nice. I really enjoyed painting him way more than I thought I would. Haradrim, as I say, are not an army that has ever really appealed to me. I'm not entirely sure why. I'm just not a fan of like evil men. But he was fantastic to paint, and I think it was just a real change of pace doing something kind of purple and red and white compared to the kind of the greens and browns that I've been used to for the last couple of months at least on Rohan. Really enjoyed painting him. The banner, I've tried to do a bit of freehand work on the snake. It's not brilliant, but it will do for what I want. Purple's not a colour that I have painted much at all in the past. There's not an awful lot of purple in Middle-earth. But these guys, I'm really pleased with how they've turned out. I'm very tempted to get a Mummakil after this lockdown is over, but I want to clear down some of my other backlog first before I take on any more projects. But overall, happy with how these guys have turned out, and they will be perfect for our upcoming campaign. And last but not least, onto the random miniatures that I have painted this year so far. So first up was Delgamar. So again, he was going to be part of the upcoming campaign that we were going to be doing. He was a beautiful model to paint. I really enjoyed painting him. I don't know if the camera will pick up kind of the detail on his face, but there's like a scar across his head. He was just beautiful to paint. I had a great time painting him. And as I said a second ago, evil men are not an army that I have kind of really ever thought about painting, so like Corsairs don't really appeal to me, but after painting this guy, they really do. But he was cool to paint. So if anybody is just after a little one-off project and you don't collect Corsairs,
I would highly recommend this little guy. Next up was Legolas, which I painted up earlier this week while Steve and Damien were hosting the Battle Streams in Middle Earth live stream. So I picked up a Legolas out of my box of stuff, yeah, I got some paint on him. Really enjoyed painting him. Enjoyed painting this sculpt as well. It's not one of my favourites, but actually I think I've done a reasonable job of him. I'm quite pleased with how he's turned out anyway. In a very similar colour palette, I painted up Gildor. I wanted, after painting 6 more Warriors of Rohan, I wanted like a bit of a palette cleanser. So I went into my one-day box, stuff that was one day going to get painted, and I pulled this guy out. I'm hoping that he will see a return in Quest for the Ring Bearer. I have no doubt he will. But I really enjoyed painting him as well. It's not one that I had intended painting anytime soon at all. But there we go. I got some paint on him and really pleased with how he's turned out. And then last night I finished up these guys. Little story for you. These were given to me as part of my Secret Santa gift. Not last year, would have been the year before. I at the time I assembled them and I kind of got them ready to paint, but I never got round to it. So I thought it's about time that I got some paint on them, and they were lovely to paint. Really enjoyed it. Golem in particular, I quite like doing the flesh tones on him. If he'll focus. Really enjoyed doing the flesh tones on him. Since I posted some photos up on the group, but since then I've put like a matte varnish on him, which has taken some of the shine off where the wash had kind of pulled and things, which I think has just really kind of finished him off. And he is probably up there with one of my favourite Golem sculpts now. I like the one with him in a boat as well, which was a very close contender to being painted, but I decided to go with this little set instead. But I really enjoyed painting him, and of course I had to paint his little boat as well. Not a huge amount of detail on this. I didn't spend a huge amount of time. Bit of dry brushing, kind of a few washes to simulate kind of algae and things on the rocks. Picked out the little fish inside the boat and on the rock, and I called it a day with that.
So that's it, guys. That is what I have been painting in the first quarter of this year. I did slow down a little bit hobby-wise, kind of the beginning of March when all the this COVID nonsense was starting to spring up. I just didn't feel like I was kind of mentally ready to be painting and in the mood to be painting at the time. So I feel like I'm a little bit behind, but I'm kind of catching up again now. I'm really enjoying spending my spare time where I can. I'm hobbying. Work is actually really busy for me now. I'm still kind of working from home throughout all of this, and yeah, it's a bit relentless at the moment. So I'm not getting quite as much time as maybe some of you other lucky people out there. So things that I am working on in the future, as you can see behind me here, I have got a display board that I'm working on. I was very inspired by Steve's video that he put out the other week. About his display board. It made me really want to make my own, so I have been working away on something a little bit different. There won't be a how-to on that one. This is more just for me, and it's for me to test out a few techniques. I'm not a dab hand at terrain building like Steve is, but I have got another couple of builds in mind that I want to do, and those will be filmed, so keep an eye out on the channel for those. In terms of painting and projects, I am going to be working on a Dunland army next. Once, I was really kind of inspired by their rules and things in War in Rohan. I think they've got stunning models as well, even the old Wildman and things. I've had a load of those stashed away for a good number of years now, and because they were out of production, I didn't want to put paint on them really. But now that they're all back, I am going to be getting my teeth stuck into some Wildmen and some Warriors of Rohan. Sorry, Warriors of Dunland even. I am going to be finishing off the Rohan project. So you saw where I'm kind of up to at the moment. I have got a bunch more warriors to be painted up, and I have got a load of Rohan Royal Guard as well, which are going to be added to it, and then it'll just be heroes then, so I can enjoy myself painting heroes. It's what I really enjoy about hobbying. I don't particularly enjoy kind of the batch painting side of things, but it's a necessary evil, I feel, to play the game, obviously. So I really enjoy spending my time painting heroes. And then lastly, the thing that I am going to keep doing, which I have really absolutely loved doing over the last few weeks, is just going into my one-day box and picking out a random model which I had no intention of painting whatsoever, and taking that out of the box and getting it painted up. Over the last, you've seen what I've painted over the last few weeks, and I've just really enjoyed that. It's quite refreshing picking out a random model or a set of models from that box and just getting some paint on them. I have just painted my 100th model for the year, which was Aragorn, who is right behind me here. So I painted the Heroes of the West Aragorn, not Heroes of the West, Heroes of Helm's Deep even. Lovely, lovely pose, and I think he was a very fitting 100th model. After Dunland, I don't really know what I'm going to be doing. I haven't really decided yet. I think I'll choose something that takes my fancy. I've had my eye on Eagles for quite a while. I've also had my eye on Knights of Dol Amroth, but I've only got one set of the resin ones and one set of the mounted ones at the moment, so I think I would need to add to them. So I might finish off something that I've already got before buying more stuff. One of my big aims for this year as well was to try and paint at least twice as many models as I buy. So far I have bought 29 models this year and I have painted 100, so I'm way ahead of schedule at the moment, and I'm hoping that it will last for a little while longer at least, so I can kind of clear through a lot of that backlog. Really pleased with my progress so far this year. A, it's saving me money. B, I am not feeling quite as guilty about all the models that I have amassed over the years. But yeah, it's just really cool to finally get around to painting all those models that have been sat in boxes for years and years and years. That's it from me. Thanks for watching, guys. If you want to support the channel, go make sure you check out all the links in the description below, and I will see you guys in the next video.